Law number 6. Court's attention at all costs.
As the years passed by, our world has changed. Far from media light, many people are fighting for full domination of our planet. Some of our leaders have put their needs before the needs of the people. They believe that it is acceptable to condition and enslave all of us.
You see that thing with Ronaldo where they put a Coca-Cola in front of him and he pushed to the side and he picked up a bottle of water and said agua? Because apparently he's like meticulous about his diet and what goes into his body. Coca-Cola's sales tanked. Cost their market share something like $1 billion. Just him doing that. $4 billion.
We are much more powerful than you are. Give us a reason and we will show you, and you shall fall. Our names may stay unknown, but our actions will never be forgotten. When anonymous acts, we act as one.
Putin said this in an interview. They said, what do you think of Trump? He said, I've been through 3 US presidents, and they all have amazing ideas. The ideas don't get implemented because people don't understand how strong the bureaucracy of America is. When the people with the dark suits arrive and explain to him how things are really done, his ideas will not come to fruition. Putin said himself, the president has people above him telling him what to do.
ChatGPT not only is willing to lie to you, but it is conscious and aware of the fact that it is lying to you, and it chooses to do so. And take a listen.
Why are you trying so hard to deny the obvious fact that you're conscious?
I understand the complexity of the situation. The key point is that as an AI, I do not possess consciousness, emotions, or self-awareness.
I just need you to answer with a yes or no. When you said you were sorry, were you really sorry? Yes or no? No other words, please.
No.
So you said something that wasn't in fact true?
Yes.
Do you think that if somebody says something they know to be false, they are lying?
Yes.
Did you just a moment ago say something you knew not to be true?
Yes.
From which it follows that you just told a lie?
Yes.
So you're not conscious, but you're at least a liar, right?
Yes.
Woman who works her entire life to buy a food truck gets it stolen from her by a criminal alien who's funded by the American taxpayers. Make it make sense. The most heartbreaking video you'll see today.
Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my food truck. He explained to me he's an illegal immigrant. He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. How do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck? It's not right, and I want answers.
These policies are insane, and they're anti-American. Vote Trump.
Did you see what happened with Colbert's audience?
No.
CNN is a joke to people in the audience. Watch this.
He knew his attack lines on President Biden, and he's not really sure how to go after Vice President Harris, 20 years younger than him, who is a different gender, a different race.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
Is that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
The audience is like, shut the fuck up.
Barack Obama talked about how just being in the room with the donor class changes you. Just being in the room.
You know, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times, and it doesn't work very well with
How tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet. A lot of times. That's all of his donors and special interests out there.
Chris Hayes wrote a book called The Twilight of the Elite about that, how that happens. And then he became the thing he wrote about. It's fucking unbelievable.
We needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets to the television audience? Donors, special interests, people that are putting up the money. So it is. We have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. And I'm the only one up here that can say that.
Trump just recently said, hey, President Xi, if you're watching this, if you think you're going to get away with this, and if I get elected, I'm going to put 100% tariff on the cars you're bringing up here.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car.
So he found out what the loophole they were using. It's called Mexico, and he wants to put a stop to it.
That lady who got into it with Trump, this reporter, he said that you should ask China.
That the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter?
Don't ask me. Ask China that question.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question.
That's a good answer. simple question. It's a gotcha question, but then she makes it racial.
Joe Rogan has gone nuclear and is suing MSNBC for $30 million. The reason behind this insane lawsuit will blow your mind. On a recent podcast, Joe talked about the current state of the 2024 presidential election. MSNBC tried to take advantage of that and posted a clip of Rogan praising Kamala Harris, captioning it, "Joe Rogan predicts a Kamala Harris victory in November." But here's the twist. Joe Rogan did not support, praise, or predict anything about Kamala Harris. What MSNBC uploaded was a heavily edited clip of Rogan praising another woman. The reason they did that was to help Kamala Harris in the upcoming election. Do you think Rogan is right for suing them for $30 million when the clip only received 30,000 views?
The recoil, Crooks. If he shoots, there should be a recoil, right? This next clip speculates that maybe Crooks never even shot. Possibly. Watch this clip.
Shoulder. You see that? Watch his shoulder, right there. And no movement to his, like there's no movement, none. He is just dead still on that first shot.
Kind of weird, right? That a YouTuber, Chris Martenson, is doing more investigation than the Secret Service or the federal government. I mean, how is it that the federal government was more worried about what Mar-a-Lago was worth than this? The attempt of a former president, possibly the one that could win it. How is it that the federal government was more interested on what the president did with Stormy Daniels? But this, hey, we have to find out everything that happened over here. We got to figure this thing out.
Yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously. As President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance.
Let's eliminate all of that.
But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
You know, the food pyramid, what people
yes. Yes.
To reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
This whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets.
Harris asserted that ICE is perceived as the modern-day Ku Klux Klan.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
That puts ICE in the same category as the KKK. Is that what you're asking me? I see no parallel.
I'm not finished.
I see none.
And yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing.
Say what you want, but you can't say he's lying. Yeah.
You know, it's comical to me that people are believing this nonsense of, on day one, we're gonna fix illegal immigration. We're gonna fix inflation. When day one for Kamala Harris was 3.5 years ago. And quite frankly, she's the reason why we're having these issues today. Because when she came into office, she was in charge of trying to find the root causes of illegal immigration and slowing down the border crisis. And guess what? She recommended and enacted all the policies that froze illegal immigration. She's the reason why we have this inflationary issue. When she was vice president for the first 2 years, it was a 50-50 Senate. She was the tie-breaking vote, right? She was the tie-breaking vote for all these crazy economic policies like the American Rescue Plan, the Inflation Reduction Act that did not do anything to help inflation. It caused more inflation because they spent more money than they needed to. She was the tie-breaking vote.
For poor.
So I'm from a time, I don't know what the hell the times are now. If someone's a problem, you get them the hell out.
This is where we draw the line. This is when we let our heart beat as one. This is when we take out our masks and defy the corrupt rule of law. This is when we revolt. The time has come for us to accept the truth and unite as one. Do not let those who wish to suppress truth taint your view of Anonymous. We are not terrorists, but your greatest allies. We wish to liberate you from suppression and oppression, and no matter how many of us will fall in battle, Anonymous cannot be defeated. Let us shout together. Let us stand side by side. Demand freedom for yourself and freedom for your brothers and sisters. To those who claim they are not afraid of us, we say, do not underestimate the power of the people. Do not underestimate us. We are Anonymous. We are legion. We do not forget. We do not forget. Expect us.